Deployment descriptor. Deployment descriptor is a component in Java EE application that describes how a web application should be deployed. It is an XML file providing each module of the application. Describe the configuration information for that module. Must be placed in web.inf directory directly under the web application root. Different types of deployment descriptors. EJB deployment descriptor. It defines the enterprise application. Web develop deployment descriptor. Application and application client deployment descriptors. See diagrammatic representation of deployment descriptor. Suppose if you are EJB or web application or in application client or EJB and Java E application and deployment tools are available. This is a diagrammatic of representation. Web app is a main tag of an web application. The root tag define all the elements to be deployed like servlet or EJB etc. Any configuration need for those elements like listeners, session etc. those information. This is syntax of web.xml file. The root tag of web apps. Here we define and display name you can mention. Use it to display the name of your web application. To provide the short description about your web application like this. Display welcome to those kind of information and context parameter. Use to specify the context initialize parameters for Java EE application. The code initialization parameters like this. And init parameters. Use to specify the initialization parameters for a particular servlet. Context initialization parameters are used by all servlets. This is a code initialization parameter like this. Param tags are used. And my mapping used to specify the mapping between a file extension and map type. This is the HTML file mapping extension and map type or test or HTML. And servlet is tag used to define a servlet. Servlet name should be mapped into the particular servlet class. This is a code servlet name and servlet class you are mentioned in the servlet root tags. And servlet mapping used to specify the mapping between a servlet and URL pattern. The code of mapping a servlet like this. Servlet name and URL pattern is there in servlet mapping block. And servlet mapping is used to deploy a servlet. To deploy a servlet we have to give the particular URL pattern. For example like this. See you can see here servlet name matching and session config is one of the deployment used to specify the session information for a servlet and session timeout also. And listeners used to specify the name of the listener class that respond to servlet during a lifecycle event. You can mention the listener class. The sample deployment descriptor web.xml file.